miracle.
Our own Caitlin Ross spoke with one woman who is paying people to be sterilized. Some of her clients right here in Jacksonville. Caitlin?
Joy, Barbara Harris knows her work is controversial, and she doesn't shy away from it. She was in Jacksonville just this summer offering drug addicts $300 to be sterilized.
I'm so sorry.
Barbara Harris has been called a lot of things.
I don't like stinky dogs.
A racist, a eugenist, a thief. But as long as she can stop drug addicts from having children, she doesn't care.
The money is motivating them, bribing them. It doesn't matter to me what word is attached to it. I just know that it's working. It's their choice to use drugs, but the babies don't have a choice.
Since 1997, the nonprofit Project Prevention has paid drug addicts, men and women, to be sterilized.
I'm writing this letter to let you know I have been on drugs for 10 years.
In 15 years, more than 4,000 people have taken money in exchange for their fertility.
And when I found out about
the program requires participants to prove their drug addiction and then prove they had tubal ligation, long-term birth control, or a vasectomy.
Her sister and her both were paid by us to use birth control. Her sister.
She then hands them $300 cash.
Right.
No questions asked.
Because I've been told, well, you know they're going to use this money for drugs, and that's their choice. But my children didn't have a choice.
She started the program after adopting her own child in California. Her daughter was born addicted to PCP, crack, and heroin. And in the 3 years following, she adopted 3 more children from the same woman, all of them born addicted to drugs. Watching her newborn children struggle to overcome addiction, she tried to get legislation passed in California. The bill would have forced women who give birth to babies addicted to drugs to be sterilized.
I was devastated.
While the legislation failed, her drive to make a change didn't. So Project Prevention was born.
If you can't trust them to make a decision, how can you trust them with a child? I mean, to me, it's all common sense.
My guest today is a
But it hasn't been common sense for many people.
Barbara Harris, welcome to Hard Talk.
The program was practically run out of the UK when she tried to introduce it overseas.
I know that I went through a bad time in my life.
And a documentary featuring mothers who have overcome drug addiction begs women to reconsider.
And I just look at these kids, and Project Prevention would have them disappear.
But that hasn't stopped Harris from taking her message on the road. Just this summer, she and her adoptive children took a bus tour through Florida. 9 women in Jacksonville took her up on her offer, and she says that should be welcome news on the First Coast.
The 9 women that we've paid so far in Jacksonville had 23 abortions before coming to us, because many of these women use abortion for birth control.
She was only in Florida for a couple of weeks, but she says her trip will ultimately save the state millions. The cost of care for children born addicted to drugs can be astronomical. And if the birth mother can't care for her baby, taxpayers are on the hook. She says she sees the effects every day. Just recently on a little boy her friend took into foster care.
The cost to keep him alive 3 years was $4 million, and he died at age 3. So for those who say, well, you should be spending your money on drug treatment, I always tell them, well, we basically are.
Project Prevention doesn't cost taxpayers anything. Harris takes in private donations to pay for the procedures and says they're growing every year. Her largest donation to date was $100,000, and her biggest donor is from Florida. Though her cause is controversial, she says it's one people who support Project Prevention believe in.
You know what I mean? So I guess it just depends on where your heart is. Is it all about the woman and her right to procreate, or is it about the child? Does the child have any rights?
Harris will be back on the road this summer, but she hasn't yet decided where she'll go. She doesn't have a specific city in mind, and she says she doesn't have to be there to get clients. She gets plenty of business over the phone and online.
Caitlin, thanks. Very controversial. You can see almost both sides of this.
Very, very controversial. And we do want to know what you think. If you agree on or whatever you think, we have the story on our Facebook page right now. So we encourage you to join the conversation now. Let us know what you think.
Caitlin, thanks.